I got to do something different every Saturday. So, good morning, Debbie. Good morning, Cassie. Hello, all. Let me fix a few things real quickly before I introduce myself, as always. Oh, man. Cool. All right. Move a couple things around. Perfect. I don't want that. I want that. And I need this. Okay. All right. Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you so much for being here. It is Saturday, June 11th, 2022. Hello, Kim. Hello, Dinah. Good morning to you both. Yes, I'm here as per usual, I'm I should be sleeping right now. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Good morning. I should be sleeping. I really should be sleeping. But when the sun pops out, well, it's not really sunny back here. It's pretty back there, but um, yeah, Good morning, Margaret. And a lot of times once that light hits me in the morning, regardless of how many hours I have sleep, it's over. even with curtains and like I have blinds and curtains, and it's still just enough light that just breaks through that. Yep, I'm up. It's weird. I just can't. I can't. It my body just is all messed up. But then again, waking up as early as I do for the normal day job, you kind of get in that routine. And I think any of us that I never understood it, growing up, and you see your grandparents, it's like, why are you guys waking up so early? Well, I didn't say bad words then. Well, I did, but nobody knew I did. Shh. But I I couldn't figure it out, and how can you wake up so early? It's like, why can't you sleep in, 7, 8, 9 o'clock? It should be easy. Hey, Carmen, good morning. And it's like, I don't get it sometimes, but it is what it is. So, hey, good morning, Jamie. And so we're here, I'm ready to go, and got some cool things to share. I can't lie. I'm pretty sure um one of them's I'm gonna lose it. So in a good way, obviously. But it's probably gonna be tough. I'm gonna fight it as best I can, but I doubt I doubt I'm gonna get through it without shedding some tears. So it's gonna be interesting when I approach that topic. Well, not topic, but that series of comments that I'm going to hit you guys with. But I'm going to try. I even prepped some tissues already, so because I think I'm going to need it. I really do. And I'll explain that in just a moment. But anyway, so cheers to all of you. Skål. I finally had my coffee late enough because I did stay in bed a lot later than I normally do. So I mean, that's a good thing. Hey, Tanya, good morning. And but yeah, so like anything, I want to roll through things because there's some cool stuff that I'm going to go through and stuff. But yeah, it'll be a good time. So hey, Rachel, good morning. Hey, Kelly, good morning. And so yeah, like I always do, I always kind of talk about a week, in the aspect that maybe you guys have had similar experiences, because that's always the fun part about the week. And then there's a couple little things I want to share with you guys too. Actually, let me do this first because we're really trying to push it, and I know before I get into like stuff, I want to push I'm doing, I got some events coming up, and there's another one that I kind of forgot about. Well, I didn't forget, but I forgot, and I should be putting it on there because I'm helping with it. So but and I understand we times are definitely getting more interesting out there, and I'm talking just in the world in general. Things are getting a little bit more difficult for a lot of us and things, and so I get it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, there's aspects of it that sometimes you have to kind of like push through it to where it might hurt in one aspect, but at the same time, it kind of gains in others. And not that what I'm about to, promote an event, that's coming up next month. But it's in that kind of category of where, it's just, more so getting together. You know what I mean? In a way, even though you gotta put some money down to do it. Like I said, I know that's going to be a tough subject for a lot of people, but it's going to be cool. So I mean, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share that part of the screen. Actually, let me fix this so you guys can see it a little bit better. But I want to talk about an event that's on July 30th next month, and let me pop that share the screen so you guys can take a look at that. All right, boom. All right. So, hey Joe, how you doing there? Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. It's easier in the mornings, but this is actually was still from last night, so I didn't take it out. But yeah, what you guys see on your screen right now, there's an event at our old mill next month. It is, you can see, some of you guys might recognize those guys, some of you might not, but there might have been at some point you've seen them on TV. Chris and Mike are part of the Tennessee Race Chasers. They've had two different types of shows on TV, and we got those two coming out to kind of put on a meet and greet and ghost hunt at the old mill. So just wanted to throw that out there for people. I mean, we're doing pretty decent. I mean, like I said, I know it's tough for a lot of people, and but at the same time, for us all just kind of getting to hang out and have a good time with people. Like I said, you see a couple guys that are on TV, and I have yet to meet these guys in person, so it's going to be kind of fun and exciting. Hey Chris, how you doing, buddy? And so but this is going on, so I mean, if it's something that might interest you guys, I'll make sure to share back over my page. But if you go to the Haunted Old Mill Facebook page, you guys can see this flyer and click on it, and there's links and things that'll get you to where the tickets are and stuff like that. But yeah, so I mean, if you guys are interested, so next month on the 30th, which is a Saturday, you can see there, meet and greet and photos and Q&A, and then an investigation. So it's gonna be kind of cool, you know what I mean? So like I said, if it interests you, throw it out there. Other than covering, their cost and needs and stuff like that, the rest of the money goes right to the mill. And that's the main thing is whatever, our team, SWPI does is to kind of push the mill and just keep the mill functioning as much as we can. I mean, and I get it that we're all there's a lot of crazy times out there, and we're all in that sort of conscious of a few things. And so but if you guys are free and want to come hang out for and have a good time, it will be fun, that's for sure. So yeah, put that on your radar, that'll be kind of cool. So hope you guys can make it out. Throw that out of there. But other than that, I think I've talked about before. The only other thing that I got coming up, and let me get my date again. And I'll have to, I pulled it up once, but I'll, try to switch it up here and there. But let's see, next month, what is it, on the 9th? I know it's actually, funny part is it's actually happening today, but I'm going to be, a featured guest for the Wild Wind Farm Festival on July 9th. And that's going to be pretty cool. That's next month. That's a huge outdoor holistic fair. So I mean, tons of vendors and stuff. But actually, today it's going on, and so that's pretty cool. Actually, I think I can. Oh, there it is. Hurry! There we go. Open. There we go. So let me do this real fast. Throw this around so you guys can just see it. So like I said, this is going to be going, hey, Jen, how you doing? Yeah, so there it is. So this is a Facebook page and stuff like that. But this is what's going on today if you guys are interested. And if you look over, where is it? It's over here somewhere. It's over here somewhere. I can't remember. It's in there somewhere. But you can kind of see, like, even today they got all kinds of cool things going on, and you see there's some music people, which is like what I'm mostly going to be featured at next month. So you guys will see an itinerary probably after this week, probably in the next few weeks. There's going to be some more cool itinerary schedules, things that are going on. So I'm looking at my other screen, so if I look over, that's what I'm doing. So that'll be kind of cool. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I guess if I really wanted to, I can do that real fast. You guys can just see it load. Yeah. Like I said, just to show you guys a little bit. There you go, Standish, Michigan. I always forget the name real quickly, but that's where it's at. So it's up there a little bit of a hike. So for some people, other people that live in Michigan, not probably not as bad as me, but just to give you guys a kind of a cool event to go out and check out and stuff. Yeah, see, there's the June one. That's today. These are some of the vendors stuff. I know I'm down. Did I overdo it? I guess I did. Yeah, see, this will be me right in here. July 9th. Yep. Then you can see the times and stuff like that for some of it. At least I think I should be. Yeah, there you go. Woohoo, there's me. See? See, there you go. So, all right. Enough of me. My little promotion for the morning. Hey, Della. Debbie. Hey, Nicole. Let's see. I was going to go to that Event Fest, but surgery was good. Oh, yeah, Cassie. Yeah, I mean, it's how it goes. I mean, I've heard a lot of people, a lot of people recently that are going to be having surgeries and things. So, oh, that's cool, Kathy. Well, there you go. Yeah, like I said, I'll be there, in July. So it's usually the second weekend they do it through the warmer months. So every second weekend, they're going to have things going on. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited for it. Okay. Other than that, so let's see, keep moving along before I get too far out of time. Next thing was, week was decent. Like I said, I always try to, hey, Sharon, good morning. I always try to talk a little bit about my week, and it wasn't too bad. I know, I posted I finally got to post a couple things, but usually it was about Thursday. Thursday was my rough day. And I the night before was kind of cool because I caught a rainbow as I was trying to get into bed. And because, the way the weather was, we had rain that just went through and yet it was still sunny. So that was kind of cool. That'd be cool, Kathy. Yeah, definitely. If you can make it, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I caught that, but then I just was trying to get to sleep because I was super tired. And, the whole aspect of, how early I have to work and, the driving. And so it's a lot of extra time, and so I'm just not getting enough anymore. And, I'm not no spring chicken, I mean, there's enough white and gray hair in here that that doesn't give you a good indication of how old I am. Even though I'm better that, I say that I'm old, but yet I know I'm not. So I beat myself up a little bit, just because it's fun. And but it's all good. And but you know, it it's just it's just wear and tear. It's just how it goes. And so waking up at 3:30 in the morning on the road by 4:30, and then because I pad myself time, it's yeah, it makes for a really long day, and it's just how it goes. And so I'm just making the best out of it. But Rachel, I'm only old. Yeah. But but yeah, so I mean, it was cool, but like it was like Thursday was just rough. I mean, a lot of us, we each have, our moments, like I said, I've talked about it so many times, and you just try to deal with it. And for some reason I was dealing with not only, mental, issues on multiple levels. And then physically, I physically was just not doing well. I had aches and pains in areas that I shouldn't, and then I had aches and pains in areas that I'm well aware of. And so it was this huge mess of stuff that was going on. And I've had my mental days and things like that, or I just have physical days, uh but it was just this, I mean, it was so much in this pot that it was just so getting through Thursday was rough, and I kind of was zoning in and out a little bit, and just trying to just keep one step in front of the other, which was labored in, for the lack of a better word, just trying to get through it. But I did what I could, and I did have my moments where I'm kind of breaking down a little bit, as far as just I just want to put my head down and just get away, and that's it happens. We're all there in those moments. And like I said, I just wanted to get away so so bad. And even then I was coming up with some weird, crazy like ways of leaving. I mean, believe me, they're way out there. so so that was pretty wild. But and then like I always said, you have your moment, you have your day where you just kind of like and then you got the next day, yesterday, you just got to get up and then start moving forward again. And so yesterday was a lot better day. a lot better in a lot of different aspects. And so many cool things did happen yesterday, and even then kind of still continued into this morning, which is, we're going to hit real fast. But last night, got to go to the old mill actually. So I mean, I'm gonna go brief on it because I want to get to the last part before we kind of jump into the topic. But we're at the old mill, but there wasn't an investigation. It was a private invite type of thing, and I got to be a part of this. And again, I kind of asked permission, but I'm not going to use any names for that one. But I got permission to use it, and so they're good friends. A good friend of mine has been being visited, in a way, not so much by what we would consider aliens. And again, this is a topic that would go really deep because it's like, to us humans, the concept of this is just so far out there that it's almost hard to imagine. And even like explaining a few things to a couple people, it's not easy and it's weird, but yet it makes sense. And that doesn't even make sense. But anyway, it's so far out there that it you have to be a part of it and even then you then start asking more questions. But because it was a private event and I got to be a part of it in April, and then was so happy to be there last night. But a lot of it had to do with like I got to do music, so that was one aspect of creating, because we all know we're made up of energy and stuff, and there's always we're fascinated with frequencies and tones, and a lot of that is throughout the universe, and that's kind of a good brief touch on what we're dealing with. And so there's stuff that we just don't understand, but there's all the stuff that exists that we just don't always have a way to comprehend it. But we were putting all these frequencies out there to talk to things that are out there. I'm going to leave it at that. So that puts the mystery of it. But they're, and here we go. I will say one more aspect. They're not of a physical form, and let that one sink in for a while, because now you'll scratch your heads all the rest of the day. But they're not of a physical form, that's even more crazy, which is why I said about energy and frequencies. So yeah, so that goes way in a direction that would take too long to dive into, and even then I'm not even half there of completely understanding it all anyway. But we were channeling through a good friend of them, of who was hosting it, channeling these beings coming through. I mean, the conversations, the things that were going on, the experiences that we had during this, because it was a group effort. There was a bunch of us, and everybody had unique experiences. And even for me, I'm used to it. When you do psychic mediumship stuff, you get to experience a lot. And so the things I had going on last night were just kind of mind-blowing too. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But at the same time you accept it, because you're used to a lot of these things happening at odd times, or when they're supposed to happen. But amazing moments. And sometimes a few people would see or have something very similar or exactly the same experience, which makes it even better. But there was one aspect, and I'm just going to get to the end of it because I want to hit one more thing before we move on. Yeah, Jen, yeah, Jen, yeah, Jen, you'd probably like you'd be saying some choice words of your classic holy blank. Yeah, Jen, you'd be loving this stuff. I'll have to talk to you about it. But there was one. Okay, so they have a thing where, and by the way, I guess I can call it because I said I would. They don't really have a name per se for themselves, which is weird. They have a belief that names are like too personal, so they don't like to even say names, which is what my last point that I'm going to get to. But they don't really have a true title for who they are. They just kind of, after talking to my friend and over the time and stuff like that, Kathy, that's all they are. They're giving off or giving frequencies back. So the channeling aspect is not necessarily in a technically a vocal aspect, even though our voices have a frequency tone to it. But the person that they were channeling through interprets the vibrations into then a speaking voice that we can understand, because obviously not all of us can just hear, like I don't always hear spirits and things on the other side. Once in a while I do, but not always. A lot of times they have to give me the images and then I have to interpret what I'm seeing. So they're interpreting it one way, but also learning from the person that they're channeling through of what our wording is, how it's then, you know, what's the best way to put it? Transcribed for us to then understand. See, this, like I said, this is going to go down a weird path. So, but it's fascinating to witness it. And there was a couple times, again, just some information that came out that even I was like, oh, like it's one thing to hear it from other humans, but then to hear it from something that's not just blew me away. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is like something I've been talking about, but yet it's there, like they're talking about it. And it wasn't even in a question that came up. It just happened. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So our yes, Margaret. And but they did a part. So like, I did flutes. I did, about 10 to 15 minutes of flutes when I started the event. So I played, and then we segued into, like, they had the rest of the group had singing bowls and tuning forks and some rain sticks and things. And so it was just to create this beautiful moment of different tones and frequencies and sounds, vibrations, and just to create and fill the air in the space that we were in. And so let's see, what do you got, Debbie? No, it would not work, Debbie. It would not work. Nope, not at all. They won't do it. They wouldn't know how to do it. It wouldn't come through. It'd probably sound like a bad radio station that you wouldn't even hear anything. It would just be all kinds of, you just hear pitches and tones. You wouldn't understand it. We wouldn't understand it. But they, but so, we did all that, and then we got into a few questions, and then we had some technical difficulties, but we were still connected, to the friend that was doing the channeling. And so a couple of us were just asking some other random questions. And there was a part that I had that, like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I was talking about it much like I'm doing now. I'm just talking, giving what I know of it. And when the main host sat back down after fixing a technical glitch, she was getting caught up as to what was going on, and the unknown stopped her from, it's like, wait, kind of thing. But then they said something crazy. So I mentioned a little while ago, they won't say a name. Well, sure enough, they repeated my name 3 or 4 times in a row. They just said, Adam, 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 Adam. And I'm like, yes. And already the host is like, blown, because they don't use the names. It's very rare. And even then they tried to get them to say names, but they just felt it was like offensive in a way. So no, we didn't, Kathy. We didn't. We were just channeling through somebody. So it was in, the person channeling it then interprets it and then spits it back out into, a vocal that we can hear. But they said my name, and then and this is crazy. Like, I want this audio clip because I just want to have it because it was recorded. So I want this audio clip so bad. And I'm going to try to get just that section of it. Just, the whole, I mean, just to have it, to hear they mentioned how they really enjoyed listening to the tones of my voice. And I mean, and I'm kind of giving like the, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, what's wrong with my voice, And I'm just trying to listen to, what they're saying. And I'm just like, okay, thank you, and everybody's just like oohing and ahhing and stuff. And I'm just like, I didn't think much of it. I mean, obviously, I try to put some energy out there, and you guys see that. I mean, we all understand the different ways of talking to somebody. And if you're a monotone, I mean, it doesn't really get you very far. So it's just natural for me to be all happy or to get really slow and serious and stuff. And so I try to run all this, the tones, so that way it makes it interesting to hear. I mean, how much have I done differently already in just, the little while we've been doing this, today. So it was really fascinating. So it was a really cool night. And just, complete like, whoa, that was awesome. So I'm dying to, be a part of it. And even then, I haven't done channeling, but that's something that, I've thought about in the last like couple years, but you never know. I mean, I don't want to do it for like paranormal stuff. I really don't want that. Because that's when you can, it's just like me talking to a bad spirit, evil spirit type of thing. I don't want to be channeling that. I want good stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to go on. So but that was cool. So I was like, really excited, really appreciated, loved it. Everybody that was there. I mean, I knew everybody that was there. So good time. So, I'll definitely keep you posted, because I think it'll be kind of fun to see what happens moving forward. And like I said, if I get into some channeling, that would be awesome too. Maybe I could talk to them for a little bit. All right. So let me hit one more thing and then we kind of jump in because not like the topic is like really long winded. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Um, so I did post yesterday, and you guys probably saw it. And if you didn't see it, go check it out. I posted a picture of me driving into work, and you could see the first rays of light coming over the horizon. It was cool because the closer I get to work, there's one part where you're a little bit more elevated, so you're just a tad a little bit higher, not higher, but you're enough to where the trees aren't so like blocking of the horizon. So you kind of have that elevated view. And it's only in this one little section of Michigan. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And so I'm just kind of amazed by it, but yet still paying attention to the road, 70 some miles an hour. You got to watch yourself, right? And I'm looking at it and going, oh, I should get a photo real quick. So I take the photo and in fact, I can show you it, but I don't have time to try to. I'm not going to go to my page real quickly and put it up there real quickly, but just so you guys can see it. So you guys can always go to the page and check it out. But you're not going to see the colors too well on the phone and stuff, but you can get the idea. Um, but it when it hit me, because again, I had a rough Thursday. Like I said, it was a lot of different things, but it was something that I always talk about, and like I said, you got to keep moving forward. See, saying it again, but this was really cool too because it's the whole aspect that every day is a brand new day. The sun comes up and the sun goes down, and we just have to always keep that in our head. And we're used to it, we're immune to the fact, but at the same time, it's it really goes deeper than just the sun comes up, the sun goes down. I mean, and you got to make the best out of whatever is going on. And so for me, just seeing that, but when I saw it, it made me think of myself. But then at the same time, knowing what yesterday, what yesterday felt, because then immediately as I thought, yay, it's a new day for me. But then it hit me too that it mattered on a family. And this is the part that I'm gonna try so hard not to break down because that's the fun thing, the things I get to do and the messages and things I get to share. Always later on I can finally let loose and get my emotions out for it because it's such a beautiful moment. Whether they continue like they have, it's been a few weeks since that reading with the family, but I yesterday was, and if you guys didn't see the post, so my cousin's wife's dad passed away a year ago on Friday, and it was it's been a rough year. It was unexpected. They didn't it shocked everybody, and anytime anybody passes suddenly, it's it gets rough, and you can't imagine because you always see your family members, whoever they are, you always think they're just going to be really old and just living a super long life, and we just always have those assumptions of things, and when something like that happens, it definitely shakes the foundation of why do things like that happen, and you play that game, which then isn't good for you. And but it was me. I don't, and to back up because I kind of briefly talked about it before, but I I'm not one to be pushy on any of the stuff I do. And yeah, Jamie. And so Jamie, that's Jamie right there, guys. And I got permission to use their names. But Jamie's, that was her dad. So Jamie posted one time on probably a month and a half ago, probably, I think if it might have even been like March or something like that. Or I mentioned about doing, she mentioned about a dream, and it was about her dad. And I'm not going to get all the details of the dream in there, but she was, and you guys know I love doing dream interpretations. I don't really advertise for it, but most of you that ever see the shows and hear me talking about it, I bring it up, and um, I love it. You know what I mean? I love getting into it, and when I can sit down with you, because that's the one neat thing about it is if I do dream interpretations, I get to ask like legit questions about you and your life. Whereas if I'm doing psychic mediumship stuff, I'm not supposed to ask like questions, because that looks bad on me. I'm supposed to let spirit tell me what's going on. And so it's fun to kind of switch things on and off. But like for the dream interpretations, I just hit her up and I just like, I know I told this same thing. I'm like, I don't want to be pushy and stuff like that, but I just said, hey, what do is it okay if I look into this or tell me more about the dream? Is there any other details that you left out? Because I said, I love going into that stuff and finding out what's going on. And so, we went through, she had two of them, and we went through it pretty deep. And she, I think there was a couple other little details she didn't post about, but we put that in there, and I gave her a lot of stuff about it. And then we talked about it as far as how it relates in her life, which is what a lot of the messages are. And we talked about dreams, before, but I'm not going to, get into that now, but we dissected it and a lot of it didn't make sense to her. And then, of course, like I said, I'm not pushy. I try not to be pushy. And so I just mentioned, I said, I said, you, if you want, I said, if you wanted to sit down and, we can, have your dad come in and we can, just see if we can get some messages, maybe answer a couple questions for you. And, that's always me where I'm biting my lips. I'm like, am I going too far? Am I going to like, scare people, cause like I said, I don't want to do that. And so she was just like, no, let's do this, and so she, kind of rounded up the family. So she had her mom and her brother, and then her other sister, couldn't be there because she was a little bit further away. So we had her sister come in, through a video chat. But that was really cool. That was like 3 weeks ago, and a lot of great messages come through. And one that I just wanted to make sure I highlighted was that during the reading, he brought up a baseball bat, and I just didn't understand what the baseball bat what it meant. Thanks, Jamie. um, he just kept, I just like, because that's how sometimes I get that visual, and I don't know what it really means, but hey, what does it mean to you guys? So I said, hey, he's showing me this baseball bat, and they're just like, well, yeah, he did like to go. And for those of us that are around the Toledo area, the Toledo Met Hens are the farm team to the Detroit Tigers. So they said, well, he did like to go to the Mud Hens games, and they said, we were planning on going, but we, just it's going to be too rough for us. And I'm like, no, you got to go. He wouldn't bring this up for no reason. You got to go. So they actually did. They went last night. So I'm going to lose it now. So they went, and I was thrilled. And it was funny was all night, even with me doing my stuff, and, once in a while, we'd take a break, and I'm like, I wonder how the game went or how the game was going. And, yes. Yeah. So that's also too, I actually was going to hit that up, Jamie, but they all went to the game. They all bought seats. And then like she just wrote in the chat, they even bought him a seat where it stayed empty. I know, Joe, I know. You got to remember, it's different for me when I get to talk about this after the whole effect. I know. So he so and my cousin Joe right there, is Jamie's husband, and he wrote an awesome text to me this morning, and he explained everything out. But I think the aspect of it was that, so he, cool things about, what was going on was that where is it? There was a home run. Now that was another message that came through, was that their dad, Tim, said, hey, there's going to be the first home run you see is him. It has nothing to do with the player. I just says, if you get, there's going to be a home run, and yes, it's baseball, right? There's probably going to be home runs, right? But he just said that it's going to be, you'll know it. You're going to feel it, type of thing. So, sure enough, my cousin Joe was saying, your first homer was in the first inning, and something which is interesting is like he wrote his father-in-law, Jamie's dad, Tim, said he just can't wait. He was always raring to go. And so sure enough, right out of the gate, he puts one out of the park. And that's like, only, so cool. Morning, Donna. And um and what was it? And then he said, and this was the second part he wrote, because he wrote a little bit more that I'll hit on, but he said, shortly after that home run, he said his mom, Chris, his mother-in-law, Chris, excuse me, Jamie's mom, was sitting there and, had the empty seat, had a photo of Tim, in the seat there next to him watching the game, and when we were, see, I gotta stop. Um, when we were doing the reading and stuff, she was, really wanting to experience him whatever way. And when you're hoping to experience somebody, you have to be careful, because, you can push too much. And you would think it'd be a good thing, but there's a way to put your energy out there to get that experience back, or to have that loved one finally give you some some way of communicating you, whether it's, just feeling them there, or whether it's, coins, we talked about that stuff, and whatever it is, or hearing a song that just popped on the radio for no reason, things like that. Well, she's had, was been wanting to dream about them and things like that. Well, sure enough, after that home run, she, and she felt something holding her hand, you know. Hey Lindsay, good morning. And and that was like, I wrote back, I said, that's something she's been wanting on. And I hope that, she finally relaxed enough to just be like, hey honey, give me that sign when you're ready to do that, and when I'm, ready for it, and to not push so hard that it was just like, that's your only thing you're doing. And so to for her, to have that experience, I mean, golly, it's, we want people to experience things like that, and to show that there is things we just don't all have an understanding of, and to be able to have that experience. And I'm so happy for her. I'm happy for the family, because even then, if you back up, um, the then the game got pretty rough, because then what ended up happening is the Mud Hens, were up, and then they were just getting killed. And I guess it went down, they were trailing like 6-3, and they thought, the game was over. The bottom of the ninth, uh, the Mud Hens, rallied. And rallied big. And, they ended up winning 7-6. So, I mean, I- I mean, it made for an interesting night. They got to be experiencing so many different things. Obviously people around them probably had no idea, but to see what they saw, and even then those little moments, and the messages that, um, not necessarily came true. They were just waiting, for them to happen. And so that, how can you deny things like that, and it's so awesome. And for me for them to do it, because like I said, I was wondering, because I think at one point it was like 11 o'clock last night, and I was just like, god, I wonder how the game went. But I said, I didn't get a message, and I wasn't, not that I expected one last night, but I didn't get a message. And I was like, um yeah, you did, Michelle, sorry, you just missed it. It was before what I'm talking about right now. So, um, I was wondering if they would send one, being like, oh, it didn't work out. I was, because I didn't know. And it's real easy for me to, I could just go and look up the game, stats, and see what happened. But well, that's the thing, Jamie. You probably didn't know that I was still up. I was up for so many more hours. You don't even realize. So, um, but I get it. And it's cool. It's totally cool. And like I said, I was out late, and so just the whole aspect of wondering. But I like, what? I'm used to this. You don't expect anything, and even then, anytime I do a reading for a client, I don't ever expect anybody to come back and follow up with me, or especially when things are said that you don't understand now, and then those messages come back meaning something later on. Happens a lot, for me at least. But yeah, it was so cool. And so I can't thank them enough for sharing that information. And I was thrilled just to be able to be a part of it, and again, to give them what we all want. We all want that peace and comfort, and knowing that we you know our loved ones are there, and in whether you can experience them or not, they are there. They'll do their best to get in touch with you, and sometimes you're just not ready for some of that because it might freak you out. Um, and it does. I mean, some people don't want, nobody wants to get touched by something they can't see. You know, I get used to it after a while. I've been groped in everything. I talked about that a few weeks ago. You know, there's only so far you can go with things, but the messages and things like that are just when you get to see how it helps everybody out. I mean, that's the whole point of why I love doing this. And um gosh, if I can, once I can get this going full time, I mean, that's just going to be amazing. So but yeah, so I'm glad that Jamie and Joe and Chris and the rest of the family had a good time last night. Even if they were on the seat of their on the edge of their seats, wondering what was going to happen. But even then, even just to get to just seeing that first homer and everything, was pretty profound. So so good. That's so cool. So yeah, but yeah, but other than that, I love that stuff. And so uh yeah, it makes it fun. But I think it's interesting because I'll segue into it a little bit, because like I said, we I'm running out of time as it is, but I knew some of these things were I wanted to get share them with you guys because it means a lot. And so um yeah, let's see, Jen. Jeez, Tim. Sorry. Yeah, you need to go back to bed, buddy. Jen, depends on who it is and the way you are touched. But seriously, it's such a blessing when the non-physical loved ones find ways to communicate with us. Absolutely. Yeah. I forgot. I had a couple dimes show up to me unexpectedly this week, and I still have them. I kept them. I always keep them. Um, so yeah, it was, and I had the dates on it, but the dates didn't resonate with me yet. But I'm just holding on to them. So if they do, but yeah, I've had a couple dimes this week pop in there out of nowhere. Who knows? Not that I need anything about, and even with the number 10 or something like that. I don't know, but might be just the number, the frequency of the number too. But it's interesting. So this is a way, I guess, a good way to segue into the topic, which I didn't put the I don't have the little title up, but I wanted to talk about a little bit, and we'll only have a few minutes, but differences between psychics and mediums. And I think it's kind of interesting. And even then, I found a great description of it because, like, I mean, I can give you mine, but I like this one a little bit better. Um, but there is and there isn't of the difference between psychics and mediums. It's great when you can actually put them together. That's just which is what I do, because you'll see it. You'll see a lot of shows, and you'll see others that just say, "Oh, the psychics." Yeah, I mean, there's aspect of it, and I'll kind of tell you. uh, oh, geez, Jen. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you better. You better. Um, so I'm going to read this verbatim because like I said, I liked it so much. I'm like, it's better than the way I'm going to describe it too. But a psychic isn't necessarily a medium, but a medium is a psychic. There's an important distinction between them, obviously. But psychics tune into the energy or people or objects by feeling or sensing the elements of their past, present, and future. Which, again, that's what a psychic thing is. Like a psychic reading is all about. Going to the past, going what's right now, and going to the future. And it's all that stuff. But you're reading the energies. You're not tapping into anything else around. Which then, like mediums, they take it a little bit further, where they're using intuitive abilities to see the past, present, and future, but also tuning into the energy around them and seeing who wants to come through and talk. Correct, Michelle. Yeah, so that's the thing is, so a lot of mediums are psychics, but at the same time, you still can have differences between the two, or some only do one, some always do the other. But uh it's really I mean, see, I probably was more psychic, which, even then that was sort of how it began for me. Because I would have a couple things growing up. I'd have those psychic moments where I'd see a whole event play out, which was obviously a future thing. It would play out and then it would come true, which is mind blowing as it is. Because even back then, the first time I had it, um, I was 10 and a half years old. And that first time that it happened was such a big event that I couldn't get emotional over the event itself because I was sitting there thinking of what I just saw many hours before that, and everything happening exactly the way I saw it and heard it. So it blew me away. So obviously I started doing some psychic stuff, but it didn't happen all the time. It was crazy major moments, as a kid growing up, and still to this day, once in a while. But it's always with me. It's never with anybody else. Unless I tap into my guides to have them tell me about, let's say. But I and then obviously once I started doing the shamanic stuff and I started working with my guides, and learning how to communicate with them, that started, pushing that mediumship. And then sure enough, watching all the ghost shows, and I've talked about this before, I just really got into it. And I always wanted to bridge that gap, which, at the time I didn't have a lot of information about it. You hear terms and things, but then, I was like, I, think that'd be great for investigations. It's another tool in a way to use because, you want the equipment to signify activity, but then to have something else that, is through somebody to be able to feel and sense and know and hear and smell and taste and touch and all that stuff. It became one of those things that's what I want to do. I really want to, tap into that. And so that, once I opened up that door and worked with mediums like I've talked about, many times, and I just never looked back. And and much like what some of the people are saying in there, not everybody can do that stuff because it can be overwhelming. And I always, have to remind people that even, you can do psychic stuff, and that's great because you really aren't going to get into anything bad. There really isn't anything bad associated with, other than maybe seeing like a traumatic event. But you get into the mediumship stuff, there's a lot more things that you have no idea what you're going to deal with. And so that's the aspect of, if you're going to go a mediumship route only, there's a lot of unknowns, way more unknowns, because if you could be dealing with some bad stuff, and so there you go, Chris. Yep. Yeah. And you know what? And that's the thing, is it worked out for you when you were ready for it. You know, um, what's your service to the bridge from the psychic into mediumship? Well, so Kim, I guess what's the service to bridge? What's the advice? I got you. Well, so I get the question a lot, and what I tell people is you have to think about it. It's like doing research. You have to think about it. You have to know if you can feel that gut feeling, which is then tapping into your guides to see if that's an aspect of where you need to go. I remember hearing mediums, even as a young kid growing up in the 80s, you hear a medium pop in there once in a while. And, then once the ghost show started coming out, you see them helping out in investigations and things. But it was, you know, like when I was asking questions about mediumship, because I kept thinking, well, I'm talking to my guides, which, are spirits and energies and stuff. Why can't I then talk to these that are over here that are not associated with me? And maybe I can help out in some way. But the big question is are you prepared for it? And that's a question you have to ask yourself. Are you prepared to put the work in? Because now, if I blindfold you and take you into, and I'm just going to say we're in a location, okay? But this location is not like a real physical location, but I'm going to have you walk up to a door, take your blindfold off, and I'm going to have you open that door. Now, how fast and how much of that door are you going to open? What's on the other side of that door? You don't know, because you have no idea where you are. You don't know what's on the other side of that door. And that's the same thing with mediumship. You can crack that door open, which is great. Crack it open and slowly try to get a little view of what's going on. Because if you open that door and just kick it, are you ready for what's on the other side? Now, I've also do the mediumship for paranormal, which now I can be dealing with a lot of bad stuff and stuff that doesn't, that might not have been of human form. So I've dealt with plenty of evil stuff, dark stuff. Not, you see a lot on TV. It's always, there's that D word that's out there. I'm not going to say it out loud, which is not the case. Very rare to have stuff that goes beyond the D word and then the S word, of the other evil creature that starts with an S. So it's so rare, and it's not you like I always have learned, you have what's really known as cranky spirits. That's what I like to call them. They're just cranky. We all have seen the old guys that are just they're set in their ways and they're just and all that. That's exactly what what ends up being. You just have a lot of cranky ones, but you still got to deal with them, especially if they're harming people or they're affecting people and things like that. But how do you handle it? You know what I mean? How are you going to deal with that when if you've never dealt with something like that before? And that's the power of it, that if you are not ready to deal with something that you've never dealt with before, what are you going to do? Because you're going to let yourself be open to an attack, and then that's not good because then you're going to need somebody to rescue you, which is true. So my and everybody's path is a little bit differently. I spent, so many years, 7.5 years before I even attempted mediumship. But I spent so many years working with my guides, grounding myself, protecting myself. And I had such a huge, solid foundation that, kind of like a pyramid in a way, you just not, you can't just tip it over. You just, that pyramids, it's just not going to happen. There's just too much there. And not that I'm immune, I've taken my hits too, but they're so rare that I've learned from them, and now I'm better for when I learn from them. But yeah, that's the thing, is to like you said, Kim, to bridge that gap, you have to know deep down if that's something you want to go to. It's really a serious question, and I've had people that I've said, you got to sit and think about this. This is not a simple I'm going to have a sip of coffee and that's it. It's not that's easy, because it really means something. Because again, you open that door, you have to be ready for what's on the other side. And there's a lot of things that we can do to prep you, to get ready for you to start to crack that door open. But that's the whole thing, is once you decide to go there, and some people disagree with me, but I've proved it otherwise, but you can open the door and a lot of stuff can happen. You're going to have the good and bad. And I'm just using it as general, but they always say, well, once you open it, you can't close it. I've known people to close it. It's a lot of work. Like, it's a little bit easier to open the door, but it takes a lot to close the door. I mean, a lot. And it's difficult. It can be done. It's just difficult. So that's the aspect of it that you really have to know without a shadow of a doubt. If I'm going to open that door, I'm ready. And again, that's why taking classes and learning from others, you're going to give you, I would give you exercises to get you up to the point of where you feel comfortable opening that door and ready for whatever happens. So, and again, that's not even just going the paranormal route where, you were going into locations and things like that. You got to remember, you can go anywhere in society and come across something bad. You could come up to somebody that's human and they've got stuff attached to them that is bad. So even then, it's not necessarily paranormal where you're in a location. You got to deal with somebody that's got something bad, and they can easily jump on you too and mess with you if you're not ready for it, So not necessarily that they would like stick with you, but jump on you to mess you up because they're like, oh, this person can see and talk to us. Well, we're going to mess with them, we're going to make them feel dizzy or whatever the symptom might be. Holy smokes, Chris. Wow. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you got him gone. Let's see. Yeah, Kathy comes through on the shows. They're always, Kathy, you got to remember the shows are for entertainment. And I get that. And that's the thing is, cranky spirit is like I like to call it. It truly is. They could be in locations that just got a lot of cranky spirits. Don't get me wrong. Now there's definitely other stuff. There's other types of activity that they can have too. And that's legit as well. But like I said, you deal with people that just, they have all different types of energy to where they can throw things and touch things. And, when you're got ones that got power to it, that's, not necessarily the D word. It's just the fact that they're up there. But at the same time, you're strong. You're always stronger than them, and they hate that. So that's why a lot of times, and it's nothing, no patting myself on the shoulder, but that's why sometimes in locations, I feel somebody's, they're being affected, I'll just go over and walk next to them. I won't say anything. I'll just go stand right next to them and just hang, because I let that whole aura, that energy field around me that has a pretty good basis, that I'm just not going to let stuff bother me. I kind of let that drape over them, and then it's always hilarious. And without saying it, they're always like, "Wow, I feel a little bit better." And I'm like, and I just kind of sit there and laugh inside because I'm like, yes. you know, it's just as simple as that. It's just walking near somebody to kind of give that. And there's plenty of people that have had me walk next to them or asked me to walk next to them, and they've experienced that kind of like, wow, that I feel a little bit better, or I feel way better. I don't feel so like, this. And so, you know, and it's, yeah, and so it's fun. For me at least, but at the same time, it's also being serious. Like, I kind of go over too, one, to kind of help them out, but two, what's going on? Why are we messing with this person, type of thing. So I'm asking questions to whatever's there. Um, let's see. Tim says, I am one, but I haven't made the door opening decision yet. Yeah, Kim, like I said, you got to deep dive, keep thinking about it, and you'll get an answer. You're going to have that gut feeling of where your guides are going to come through saying, yeah, or they're going to be like, yeah, maybe not, you know. Chris, he tried to hitch a ride home with a friend who was helping with the case. He had to get, wow. Jamie, I had a spirit put out my sage 3 times. Yeah, that's a little bit. Yeah, see, now that's where we're getting into some intense stuff. So that one's got a little bit more oomph, behind them, a little bit more power, and they're gonna mess. And see, they don't want things like that. They don't want people dealing with them. They want to put a fear in you, which is one of the things. Anger and fear are the worst things to have in a situation like that where there's activity. You display any of those, you're not helping at all. You're giving them energy, which is the wrong thing. So, but as long as you kept up with it, Jamie, and you kept pushing it, and don't let them, do that, because you got to remember, we're all strong enough. You just got to make sure you're using your head the whole time. I'm stronger than them. They're not going to beat me. They should not be here. Whatever the situation is. Let's see. Debbie, Cranky Spirits don't bring the TV ratings. That is true, Debbie. You got to say the D word. Yep. Kathy, you helped my friend JD and had an attachment. Yeah. Yep. I remember that. Yeah. See, Jamie, he did put the fear into me, and I had to let it go. Right. Yeah. And that's all it takes. That little bit of fear, then they win. And that's just a little bit more boost, Yeah, see, Rachel, you too. You got to put the work in. You got to, you got to put that work in. You're building up. You're still getting that foundation around, solid, and you got to keep working. I think, it's not going to build itself. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, you make yourself a target if you have better. Right. Yeah, and if there's times too where if I'm not feeling it, or like I do. You guys know I do a lot of remote viewing. So like if my energy is not there, like if I had a bad day, I could muscle through it, sure, but that also takes me down a few notches. That gives them an opportunity to, now there's a little bit more of a battle, whereas it's usually one-sided, you know. But I want to be as close to 100% as possible. I don't need to be down a little bit doing any of that work, because oh my gosh, yeah. Oh wow, Cassie. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been to Donna's a couple times, and yeah, um, yeah, I have investigated, so I know what you're talking about for sure. Right, Rachel? Yeah, it happens to us, but see, that's the thing, is you have to just you get to the point where you have to kick yourself hard enough. So that's great, Chris. Yeah, see, that's the same thing. I mean, you know, I'm willing to try a little bit. Oops, I said the bad word. Since I try, I'm willing to do some things and see what, like, you guys know, I don't, there's certain things that I won't do. Like, I like to have a good time. I like to have a couple drinks and things like that. That's one thing I can't do. I can't have a sip of any alcohol. I just can't do it. When I'm doing this stuff, I would love to, why not, but I can't do it. I have this thing for me, and I not talking down on anybody else, because some people need that one drink, just kind of helps them relax a little bit more, and that's great. I get that. When I'm having a stressful day, one little drink does wonders. But I just still can't. Just like I can't play my flutes. the sacredness of the wood and how they came from earth and things. I just can't put that, that alcohol in them. And so it's just a rule of mine, just for me. I really don't, whatever anybody else does that helps them out, great. And so I've debated on, even testing the water sometime. And so who knows, maybe one of you get lucky one time. But you know, to see what would happen, and not to make it like it's more of an experiment for myself to see if it's legit or not. But I'd be willing to have a couple drinks and just use that as a stepping stone just to see. But to be able to do a reading for somebody, with a couple drinks in me, is it going to make it better, or is it really going to make it worse? I kind of lean on the worst side, but it's not like I'm throwing that intention out there. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the fun part about it, is just to try things, but again, not making it a regular thing, because that would be bad. I'm not going to push that to where that's a normal thing, but I just want to know where my limitations are. I think that's the main thing. I mean, we know obviously too many drinks, your head's going to be a little bit in a different place. So but I just want to know, sometimes even with just a couple where it's not really even doing much at all, but just to see. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll make it work out one time. And um, you know, I'll probably do this probably locally, like with some friends or something like that one time, where we're just hanging out, and I'll just do it like that, where it's not completely like set up to work it, but I'll just be like, yeah, I've had a couple drinks. Let me do a reading on you, not like people are going to say no to, a free reading. But just to see, said that's more the curiosity of it, but again, not to make it a thing. So, but we are a couple minutes past the time. I know, Joe. Yeah, I could come over. I know I have never been to your house, Joe. I could come over, get together with PP. Yeah, right. Well, it's true, Cassie. You guys do. I mean, I catch your shows on repeat and stuff, but yeah, you guys do have a good time. I will admit that. You guys are fun. I can't lie. You guys have a great team. You guys are fun. There's no if somebody's not laughing at some point, or then something's off, and that never happens. So yeah, I'm sure you would, James. Yeah, see, like I said, we'll come over, we'll have a good time. So but thanks, Kathy. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, you guys. I want to give you guys a bet your Saturday. I got one thing going on today, so I'm gonna help the parents open their pool up. They have not done that yet, so I'm gonna go do that in a couple hours and get that going. Chris, that is true. But that's what I say. Got to be careful, Maybe I'll just do beer where it's not as quick. Thanks, Kim. You too. But yeah, gonna do that. I'm gonna be then. Other than that, I'm gonna be doing some chores around the house this weekend. So I've got kind of a laid back weekend, which is nice. This week. Oh, I should really hit you. This week I got something really kind of cool happening Wednesday night. Not that it's, you guys can deal. But it's again one of these directional things for me. So Wednesday night. So I gotta, as soon as I get home from work, I got to change, and then I'm going to go down to a town about 20 minutes south of me called Pemberville, and I'm going to be working. I got four readings that evening, so I'm really excited. So it's going to be one-on-ones. So that's going to be cool. So I'm excited to get down there to do that at this holistic shop. So that's a good start for me, And then next Saturday, Rachel, who's right there, Rachel is. Yeah, see, Rachel, you could jump in right away, but Rachel's hosting a gallery. And so I'm at her house, so we're going to be, she's got a bunch of friends and family, all going to hang out, and we'll do a gallery reading for her. So I'm excited because I'm starting to enjoy that, because it's good times, I love doing them. And so again, just trying to get myself out there a little bit more to, maybe I can get away from the day job stuff and do this all the time. And you guys can we'll just do readings and cleanses and healings and, just chats. You just want to talk, let's just talk. I can act like a counselor. I don't have a degree, but I can talk. I can listen. So but, Debbie, is that before? Whoa, whoa, I hope not. So all right, gang, so thank you so much for being here. Thanks to Jamie and Joe and Chris and the rest of their family. And I'm glad you guys had a good time last night. I, like I said, I was thinking about you guys the whole time, and I'm glad, Tim, your dad, your husband, made himself known, and he wasn't lying. He gave his messages, and you guys got to experience it. So I'm really was happy that you guys, did go, regardless of the emotions that it all is, because it was a rough day, but you could see he wanted you guys to have a good time, and that doesn't get any more clear than that. And so that's really special. And so good for you guys. And so love you guys. And so we will keep watching. I'll be posting some things. Gonna try to do a little bit better this week and get a few more fun ones out there, and inspiring ones, and I'll tell you guys about Wednesday night, on Thursday when I wake up and things. And so that's great, Jamie. That's great. Yeah. Like I said, that's what he wanted. You could tell he just wanted to make sure you guys had fun, and not sit at home thinking about things, but to go out and just have fun with things, and put it in a really positive light, like my, like the photo, put everything in perspective, and, just keep moving forward like we all should be doing. So, God, Christine. Whoa. Okay. That's an after hours. That's at like a 10 o'clock show at night. So Woo. I'm gonna get flagged for that. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for being here. It's so awesome to meet you guys and hang out and share a little bit. And we'll be doing it again. See, there's an angel feather right there, right in front of me, like right there. See, and it's floating up to the ceiling. There you go, guys. There's a message right there, right there, right live. See, I love when they do that. That was awesome. Whoo! And it's gone. I can't find it. Angel feather right up and through. There you go. It's message for you guys also. See, we're all surrounded. We're all in good shape. So, yes, Debbie, have a good one. So yeah, I'm out. I'm almost 10 minutes over. So, you guys have a great day, and we'll definitely be talking to you guys soon. Watch for the post, and yeah, thank you so much for being here. So you guys have been watching Adam the Black Swamp Medium here on the Mid Morning Medium chat. So we will see you again soon. Thank you so much. All my love, light, and peace to every single one of you. Thank you so much. Bye.